Right, well, I haven't got any theme music yet, so that's going to be sorted out soon. I'll work that out. This is just a sample recording first, just to see how it goes and how I sound in that. So, for the test topic, it will be transportation. Now, I don't think that we have the same highway system, especially for cities, that they do out in the States. For example, take an ordinary city in the United Kingdom, and I'll say Bristol. Now, Bristol will have simple dual carriageways, and the rest of it will just be streets, ordinary roads, and it will be mainly arterial. However, out in the United States of America, they have huge highways, and they're like on a ramp, and they go right across the cities. And if anybody is going to call into the next show, then I'd like to hear people's views on whether we should have them here, because obviously they would be very expensive, they take up a lot of room, and also they would be extremely noisy, and also probably not good for the eye. I mean, I know that a lot of cities in this country have knocked down large buildings and that, not because they weren't of any use. I mean, for Swindon, for example, they knocked down the police station just because it didn't look right. But I don't think they have that concern in America. They prefer to go for things that function well, they go well for the price, and they're effective. And the transportation system out in America is effective. They have, like, the interstate. The interstate is absolutely fantastic. State to state, it's always just constantly 4 lanes. Years in the building of it, right through the deserts, bikers, trekkers, just out through the desert. You can go there. They got proper fuel facilities. We don't have fuel facilities here. There seems to be, like, for example, around here, I can think of maybe 4 fuel stations within a 15-mile radius. Not counting Swindon, obviously, but Swindon is 16 miles away, I think, as the crow flies. And out there, they have laws where there has to be enough fuel, because otherwise, it's just more efficient, to be honest. But I think all of this is leading up to the new plan to have a highway from Mexico up through Texas in Oklahoma into Kentucky, I think it is. I don't know, so completely on that one. But it would be mainly a toll road, and well, they're setting all of this up because you might not hear of it, but there are a lot of shootings on the border with Texas and Mexico. There were 21 people shot dead on the border in drug wars and turf wars. Only 2 days ago, I think it was a shootout. There are a lot of ghost towns around that border there. And you don't seem to get it on the California-Mexico border, the Arizona-Mexico border. You just don't get it. It's Texas. Now, the people of Mexico seem to regard Texas as their own. And to be honest, a lot of part of Texas, which is like jutting out into Mexico, is mainly Hispanic. It is mainly Mexicans, but there are all sorts of problems with drugs. It's a very poor area, and it's also the area that is favourite to be nuked if Russia were ever to attack America. And that is odd because it is above New York. It is above New York on that list. Now, I don't know what that is. I think it's definitely a plan. I think it's definitely a danger area. And this is building up to creating the toll road through there. And it's going to be a super highway. Now, you've got 20-lane highways in Miami, in New York, in Los Angeles, in San Francisco, in any American city you'd like to name, to be honest. And but this is going to be huge, and this is going to be completely paid. You're going to have to pay for it. Now, Alex Jones, and he is a hero, he thinks that what they're doing at these toll stations, he does have evidence to back this up, I think, but don't quote me on that, that they are putting stickers with chips onto people's cars so that they can track people right across the country. And that is how it is going to be happening in America soon. They've already started building it. There's been building works in North Mexico, heading towards the border. Now, the main route is also very bad because that means that people are going to be forced off their land in Texas. And people already have been. For example, there were somebody near Dallas, I think it was. They were forced off of their land. They were given no compensation for it, all because of plans for this big highway, and it's going to generate millions and millions of dollars, all to just go towards this North American Union New World Order plan. It's not a good thing, and it will probably end up going up into Canada, and that is when you'll definitely know that the three countries are linked. You'll definitely know then that they'll have an excuse. Well, we've sorted out poverty on the borders, we've sorted out everything along the general route of it, and Texas has enough highways. They're very good for Texas highways. And then they'll just say, well, there are so many similarities now that we've devaluated the dollar, so we've turned it all basically into one nation. Now let's have it, a North American Union. They have them out in Europe. It's worked out in Europe. Well, it hasn't worked out in Europe, but that's what their excuse is. And there does seem to be support for the European Union among the brainwashed, stupid idiots. Now, excuse me if I'm a bit slow because I'm doing this completely without notes, but there we are. And it will go up into Canada, and there will also be another branch, and that will go off towards the northeast of America, through New Jersey into New York, and that will join up into New York, and from there on I would expect that it would go up to Montreal up in Canada over the border, through Maine, and it's just not a good thing because that will end up united. We've done it a bit here as well because, after all, we have more road links to France than we need. We have more motorway space around that southeast corner. It's not the busy part of London because the M25 around London is usually at a standstill. It is. It is a really overcrowded motorway because the commuters go to places like Felixstowe, even up into Norfolk and there's a lot around that. It's heading towards Dover, and you can make the excuse that there are a lot of trucks coming over from the continent. But why is there a lot of trucks coming over from the continent? The European Union. And Poland are sending a lot. There are a lot of Polish and Czech drivers, and the police did a poll, and they found that most of the trucks from Eastern Europe do not meet British safety standards. And that is just dangerous. That is why there's been a huge increase in motorway accidents over the last 5 years. All that stuff they feed you about there's less accidents is crap. They are just doing that as if to say, oh, it's all fine with the European Union. It's all fine with the European Union. But it isn't. Nothing is fine with the European Union. It is an absolute disgrace. So, that's my sample. It will be jerky because I didn't use notes. I didn't use any notes at all, but there we are, and good night.